in the heart of a forsaken landscape where laughter once echoed, now only the wind whispers. Picture a place that once bubbled with the laughter of children and the cheers of adults, now standing silent, swallowed by time and neglect. This is the scene of an abandoned carnival, a skeleton of its former self, draped in the cloak of twilight as day gives way to night. As the shadows lengthen and the sky darkens to a deep indigo, the air fills with the crisp rustle of dry leaves, skittering across the deserted walkways. The eerie quiet is occasionally pierced by the mournful creak of old rides, swaying in the breeze, groaning under the weight of years forgotten. A distant melody plays, a haunting tune that seems almost out of place in this desolate setting. It's a piano, slow and somber, playing a lament for the lost days of joy and revelry that once defined this place. Step through the gates if you dare, into a place where the past lingers and shadows dance. The gates creak open as if hesitating to reveal the secrets held within. As they reluctantly part, an eerie hush falls over the scene, almost as if the very air is thick with untold stories. Welcome, brave soul, to the gateway of lost souls. Step by step, we venture deeper into the heart of this abandoned carnival. The path, overrun with creeping vines and littered with leaves, crunches underfoot, a stark reminder of nature reclaiming what was once hers. To the left, an old ticket booth stands guard, its windows clouded with the dust of ages. Faded posters cling to its sides, their colors bleached by the sun and their edges curled and torn. These relics advertise performances by acrobats and magicians, their smiles eerie and frozen in time. Listen closely. Can you hear it? The whisper of the wind carries echoes of laughter and applause, a ghostly audience that once filled this place with joy. Now only silence remains, punctuated by the occasional rustle of leaves or the distant hoot of an owl. As we move forward, the air grows palpably colder. Shadows seem to flicker and dance in the corner of your eye, always just out of clear sight. The atmosphere is charged with a palpable sense of waiting, as if the carnival itself is holding its breath, watching. There, just ahead, stands the once grand carousel. Its paint is chipped and faded, the horses looking as though they might spring to life at any moment, caught in a frozen gallop. They stare out with glassy eyes, trapped in eternal circles. The stillness is unsettling, the silence almost louder than any sound. Each step seems to echo, amplified by the emptiness. A chill wind picks up, sending a shiver down your spine, whispering secrets as old as the carnival itself. It's a place out of time, a limbo where the past lingers, reluctant to fade away completely. With each step forward, the air grows colder, the night darker. Behold the carousel, a circle of ghostly horses trapped in eternal motion. As twilight deepens, the soft glow of moonlight reveals a sight both mesmerizing and unsettling. This carousel, abandoned and weather-worn, begins to stir. A low, groaning creak builds as if the very air breathes life into its ancient gears. The lights, long dormant, flicker on in a hesitant, stuttering sequence. It's an electric pulse without a source, casting eerie shadows that dance across the cracked paint and rusted metal. Each horse, adorned with peeling gold leaf and faded jewels, carries the echoes of laughter long silenced by time. As you draw closer, a melody seeps into the air, a tune that tugs at the fringe of memory, soft, haunting, and inexplicably familiar. It plays from nowhere, yet fills the space with a presence as tangible as the chill night air. The horses seem to awaken, their glass eyes catching the moonlight, glinting with a lifelike quality that chills the spine. Listen closely. The wind carries whispers, a chorus of hushed voices that murmur secrets of the past. As the carousel turns, each horse appears to nod in rhythm to these ghostly confessions, their movements too deliberate, too knowing. And then, as suddenly as it began, the melody dwindles into silence. The lights dim one by one, surrendering to the encroaching darkness. The music fades, but the feeling of being watched remains. What twisted reflections await in the funhouse? As we venture deeper into the abyss of the abandoned carnival, the funhouse looms before us. It's a place where laughter once echoed, but now only the silent whispers of the past remain. Inside, the air is thick with the musk of mold and the faint, sweet scent of old carnival treats. The protagonist steps cautiously on the creaking wooden floor, each step echoing unnervingly through the halls lined with mirrors. These aren't ordinary mirrors, they're craftsmen of deception, creators of illusions that distort more than just appearances. As the protagonist moves forward, the mirrors begin their eerie dance. Reflections twist and elongate grotesquely, turning familiar features into grotesque caricatures. With every hesitant step, the images shift, creating an unsettling kaleidoscope of visuals. Eyes seem to follow from the glass, and smiles turn into sneers. The protagonist's heartbeat quickens, the sound almost deafening in the oppressive silence of the funhouse. They pause, their breath fogging up the glass in front of them, and for a moment their own eyes meet theirs in the reflection. But something is amiss. The eyes, staring back, hold a depth of sorrow and malice that chills to the bone. Rattled, the protagonist hastens their pace, the distorted reflections mocking their every move. Whispers seem to seep out from the walls, each step forward feeling more like a descent into madness. Escape the maze, but not the creeping dread that follows. A figure emerges from the shadows, a silent clown, the ghost of laughter past. In the dim light of the moon, our protagonist's breath forms visible puffs in the cold air as they stumble upon a figure draped in the garish, faded colors of a clown's attire. This figure, unnervingly still, stands at the edge of vision, an eerie sentinel in the night. As the protagonist approaches, the stillness of the air feels as if it thickens, wrapping around them like a suffocating cloak. Tentatively reaching out, the protagonist brushes their fingers against the clown's cold, painted cheek. It's just a statue, they reassure themselves, but there's something unsettlingly lifelike in its eyes, glassy yet seemingly flickering with a hint of mischief or malice. The protagonist's flashlight scans the area and lands on a piece of weathered paper pinned to the clown's chest. The note, written in a hurried, almost frantic scrawl, reads, "We've been expecting you." The words send a shiver down their spine, echoing through their mind like a whisper from beyond. With a start, the protagonist looks up to find the statue's head tilted at a new angle, its painted smile now seeming to smirk directly at them. They blink, and for a split second it looks as if the clown's arm is raised, beckoning. The protagonist rubs their eyes, heart pounding. No, it must be the shadows playing tricks, they think. Turning to leave, they feel the unmistakable sensation of being watched. Glancing back, they catch the clown's eyes again, now glaring from a different direction, as if it had moved silently on its own. The air grows colder, the silence deeper. The protagonist quickens their pace, the echo of their footsteps mingling with the soft rustle of leaves behind them. They dare not look back again, fearing what they might see. As they exit the scene, the laughter is gone, but the eyes of the clown seem to follow, piercing the darkness. The old Ferris wheel groans under the weight of rust and forgotten dreams. As our protagonist flees the clutches of the silent clown, their only refuge lies in the towering skeleton of this once joyful ride. With every step, the metal protests, echoing through the desolate carnival, a sinister symphony accompanying a desperate escape. Climbing higher, the ground below becomes a tapestry of shadows and abandoned hopes. The wind whistles through the structure, carrying whispers of the past, a child's laugh, a mother's call. But these sounds are mere ghosts, twisted by time and fear into something far more ominous. Suddenly, a chill runs down the protagonist's spine. There's a sound, different from the mournful creaks of the wheel. Footsteps? No, not just footsteps. Something is climbing the Ferris wheel with them. They pause, heart pounding, and glance downward. A figure, dark and indistinct, ascends with alarming speed and agility, its movements too smooth, too certain for any normal human. Panic surges as the protagonist climbs faster, the structure swaying ominously with each desperate movement. The eerie figure mirrors their ascent, relentless and silent. It's as if the carnival itself animates the figure, a puppeteer pulling strings in this macabre show. At last, the top. The protagonist heaves themselves over the final barrier, gasping for breath, their hands gripping the cold metal. The view from here should be breathtaking, the world sprawling out beneath them. Instead, it's a vista of decay, the carnival's twisted structures sprawling into the darkness like the limbs of a monstrous creature. The figure emerges beside them, its features obscured by shadow. The protagonist recoils, pressing back against the central axis of the wheel. There's nowhere left to run. The figure steps closer, the moonlight revealing not a face of malice, but one of sorrow, an echo of the carnival's own tragic past. At the top, the world lays bare, but so too does the danger. The figure reaches out, not with a gesture of threat, but of entwined destiny. Here, on the Ferris wheel of fate, the past and present collide, leaving our protagonist to face the haunting truth of the abandoned carnival.